I need an oxtail. That one's too big. That's definitely too big.
What?
That one's too big. Alright. Wait, let me know how much for it. That's a lot. Alright, cut it up for me, please. Welcome back. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the Millionaires TV kitchen. Today we will be cooking oxtail. I don't have any beans, broad beans or butter beans, so I'll just be cooking plain oxtail, and I will be showing you step by step how I cook my oxtail. So first, let's go wash the oxtail and season it, and then we get started. This is the oxtail that I bought from the shop today, and I'm just gonna wash it now. I'm gonna add a bit of vinegar to it to give it a quick wash. Nicely washed with vinegar and ready to be seasoned. Now let me just go through what I'll be using to season the oxtail before I put it on. So I've got some onion powder. I'll just use a tablespoon of onion powder. As I said, it's about 2 pounds of oxtail. So that's onion powder. I've also got some meat seasoning. And I'll also use a tablespoon of that as well. And oxtail seasoning. Another tablespoon of that, and this is garlic, ginger, garlic and pimento, and another tablespoon of that, and I've got a tablespoon of garlic powder, and I've got a teaspoon of paprika. 1 teaspoon of paprika. So that's all in it now. The next thing is I've got this browning here. It's called browning. Browning color is to add a bit of darker color to your meats. You do not have to use this. As Jamaicans, we normally put a bit of browning on our meat and do not put too much, so I say maybe half of the tablespoon, because if you put too much then your meat will get a bit bitter. So it's just only about half on the amount of meat. And also I found this thing in the shop which I'm using quite often. It's Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, but it's very good and it's filled with flavor. So instead of using Scotch bonnet today, the fresh natural Scotch bonnet, I will use some of the sauce, which I'll use a tablespoon of this, depending on your taste and how much you need. And I'll just rub these into the oxtail, and then I will leave it to marinate. You can do this overnight. You can do this for as long as you want, even to season it and then put it in your freezer until you're ready to cook it. I went out earlier today and got this oxtail, and then I said I'll come home and cook it as requested by a subscriber. They wanted to see how to cook oxtail. See, the browning is adding a bit of color to the meat. So then I rub this all in properly. Make sure every piece of the oxtail is covered with the seasoning. And you will see how I season the meat again once it's cooking or once it becomes tender. because oxtail is one of them type of meat that takes a long time to cook. And with oxtail, I don't like cooking oxtail in a pressure cooker. It's not the same flavor. I would say if you don't like cooking for long periods of time, it's best if you cook it in a slow cooker if you don't have the time, than to actually put it in a pressure cooker. It just takes away all the flavor from the oxtail. So that's that for now, and I leave it here now for maybe 2 hours, and then I'll come back and show you step by step how I cook my oxtail. So okay, the meat have been sitting there now for about maybe an hour and a half, and I've just come back to put it on the cooker. You can see my pot is here and the cooker is on. I'm just gonna add about maybe 2 tablespoons of oil, not a lot of oil. See, just about 2 tablespoons of oil. It may look like a lot, but it's not. Just to coat the bottom of the pan. And then I'll wait until this pan gets very hot, and then you add the oxtail. When you add the oxtail, do not cover the pot, because we need to fry the oxtail a bit. So I'll show you how I do that. So I'm just waiting on the pan to get hot. The pan is now hot, so I will be adding the oxtail. And I still leave the cooker on high. I'll keep stirring the oxtail like this for about 10 minutes. So that's what they call browning meat. So you see that they call that browning meat as well. So that's why I said you didn't have to use the browning. You could do it in the pan where you fry your meat before, and that is also, they call that browning your meat in Jamaican terms. Or for me, I add a bit of browning to speed up the process, so I don't have to be here all day waiting on all the meat to be browned. Does have a beautiful color. At some stage you'll see the seasoning start sticking to the bottom of the pan. You just keep stirring. As I said, approximately 10 minutes. And I leave it there like that, and I'll keep stirring for 10 minutes or so until I think it's brown enough, and then I will cover the pot. I've been browning the meat now for about 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is going to put on the kettle to get some hot water to put on the meat, but not a lot. I just put like a cup at a time until the meat gets tender, and then I will add my other seasoning, which is like onion and garlic and scallion and sweet pepper. If you're gonna do oxtail with beans, what you can do, wait until the oxtail is fully cooked, and then you add, if you've got a tin bean, either butter bean or broad beans, you drain your beans off, you wash them, and then you put them in the pot and cover it on low, because the beans are already cooked, and we don't want them to get all mushy. So now I'm ready to add a bit of water to the oxtail. The kettle is boiled. So let me just show you what it looks like. Nice color. So I'll add a cup of water to that. Just a cup of water. I'm not covering the meat with the water. You can have a look. So I just add the water in stages. I'm gonna put it on 5 and cover the oxtail so it stays there and cook a bit, and I keep checking it at all times. Once the water is gone, I'll add another cup of water. Continue doing so until the oxtail becomes tender, and once it's tender, then I add the remainder of the seasoning. The first cup of water is now gone down. See? So I'm boiling the kettle again to add another cup of water. Kettle boil, so I'm just gonna add a bit of water to it. As I said, about a cup. I'm not gonna cover it with water. I want it to slow cook. Just add water, and that was my 4th cup of water. So now the oxtail has been cooking. Has been cooking on medium heat by me adding water, body water, as we go along. Just show you how the oxtail is now looking, and I test it. Yes, so I can add the remainder. Look, the fork went straight through the oxtail. So now I'll be adding, look how easily it comes off the bone. So now I'll be adding the remainder of the seasoning. Now that the oxtail is tender and it's basically coming off the bones, I'll be adding 1 stalk of scallion, 3 cloves of garlic, maybe I would say 2 sprigs of thyme, a small bit of ginger. What I'll do with the ginger is I'll just press the ginger. I don't want to cut it up quite tiny to lose it, so I'll press on it like this to kind of squash it out a bit, and then I'll put it in the meat so I can find it when I'm ready. So with the garlics as well. I just squash the garlics like this. 3 cloves of garlic. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic, 2 sprig of thyme, 1 stalk of scallion, and a large onion. I didn't have any fresh sweet peppers, so I'm going to use the frozen mixed peppers. They use enough to give you one pepper. This is too much. So I'm just going to use enough of this frozen sweet pepper to the equivalent of 1 large sweet pepper. Then you just add these to your oxtail. So that's the sweet pepper in. These are the gingers. I did not cut them up tiny. I just squashed them a bit. You don't have to use ginger. I like to cook with ginger. These are the 3 cloves of garlic, large chopped onion, scallion. What I'll do is I'll just cut it straight through the center and drop it in there, and the thyme. And that's it really, and I just mix these in. After adding all the remainder of the seasoning, I'll be adding another cup of water, and that cup of water is basically to make gravy. That's my final cup of water. At this stage, we have added the remainder of the seasoning. It's up to your taste what you add after this. So you can taste, and then you add if you think you need a bit more pepper, if you think you need a bit salt, if you think you need a bit more meat seasoning or garlic powder, whatever you need, you can add it at this stage, and you just leave it on low to cook until you think it's ready. Enjoy!